your tab, your phone, anything, any smart device around you, and then somebody pops up. You can get 100 naira and pay 20 later. You can get 5,000 naira and pay this, and then you go into it. That's a whole way of digging your own grave. Well, that's loan shark. What does it mean? How do they operate? What license do they have? What economic value do they have or add to your life, my life? That will be our thoughts for today. My name again is Elizabeth, and we have a whole house here, people who are well vested. Me, I want money. So if you guys have loan, whatever, I will go into it. But don't expect me to pay too much. What's your name?
I am Ode Felicia.
Okay. Ode, have you had your own experience? Yes
Definitely.
Or no?
Yes.
You've had some. We'll get to share it later.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Tefa Abraham. I'm an economist, and I assure you I have a lot of experience in this loan shark operation.
But do you also have your own?
Certainly not. We are government compliant.
Okay. I'll put it to you that you had your own share.
I'm Thelma Okorie. I'm a data protection lawyer. I haven't had any
Personal,
no, I haven't used loan sharks or their apps, but on the legal side, I'm aware of their doings.
Okay. All right, so we're aware of your doings, and some have had experience. We moved to the street and got to find out what are the masses saying. What has been their experience? Let's look at it together. We'll come back and talk.
The first time I received the message was someone called me as a regard to a friend that I know that he took a loan from there, and he has not yet paid back. So I told them, look, you guys did not call me before signing a loan, so I'm not aware of the loan, so they should not call me next time. That's what I told him. I told that, okay, maybe I'll get across to the guy. I told him, look, these so people have called me for a loan, but next time they should phone me before giving out any loan.
I did not collect the loan personally. I think someone collected loan and then gave my name as one of his collateral. I was not contacted. And so somebody sent me a text. I've forgotten the name. I have it on my phone. I couldn't scroll. So they sent me a text that your person has collected loan and it's 17 days now, there is no repayment. So I was telling my colleagues, this is the text I had. They also said they had an experience, two of them. So I said, but I don't know the person and nobody has contacted me. So I scrolled to the message, took the number and dialed on my phone. After dialing, I now saw that the person was actually in my contact. I saw the person's name, a respectable person, a lecturer. So I did not bother since I was not informed that somebody was taking loan and nobody called me. So they told me to just ignore it.
They have received message texting me that so person owed them loan and that I should ask the person to pay up. And I've received such a message from an unknown source.
Yeah, actually I do, about a loan I've not applied for. But as I see it as it's not really important because it's not something that I applied for. And you know, most of these people, they use it as fraud, you know, to pull in people into what they didn't really bargain for at a particular point in time. So it's not really encouraging. So when I see their messages, normally what I do is I ignore their message.
I was not the one concerned, but I was concerned a bit that I signed paper shorty to somebody and the person failed to pay. I was caught up by police in this Abuja.
Like, I've never gone to apply for loan. Like, I don't like borrowing, but I've received messages about maybe someone gave someone my number, I don't know, from different organization. But I've never looked into it to know where it's coming from because I'm not interested. So I don't know if it's coming from maybe my relative, my friends, I don't know.
So my friend came to me to borrow money from my hand. And at that moment, I was not having any money to give to him. But I had these people that used to lend money, so I introduced him to them. You know, all these people that lend people money, I introduced him to them. And then when he got there, they gave him a form to fill, they asked for his IPPIS, they asked for his contact address, everything, his passport and the rest of it. And then after he provided everything, they gave him the money, quite all right. They gave him the money. After giving him the money, then they said that he was going to be paying monthly. Month will reach, they will remove the money. Month will reach, they will remove the money. Month will reach, they will remove the money. After removing the money that they said that it was 2% interest, they removed the money, he has finished paying. Now, in his own mind, he has finished paying. But the next month, they removed another money from there. This is not right. He had to come and meet me and then explain to me. And because I was the one who took him to the people, he was not feeling as if I was involved. I had no other choice than to take him there. So when we went there, they were like, we should bring proof that it's a lie, is not true. So he had to show them all the debit alert they have been debiting him, and then show them everything, even his form, even the passport. And then after that, they stopped debiting him the money. But after that, they were supposed to refund the money they took from there. But they did not refund the money. They held the money captive.
Well, James Hadley Chelsea used to say soccer punch, right? Okay. For me, that the line there was holding the money captive. How do you hold my money captive? We'll get to define that. It's still Loan Shark, and the show is Conversations. I have people in the house who will be helping me do justice. But let me start. You heard a lot of what they said. For me, captive money. How has been your own experience? Have you had any?
Yes, I've had experience personally myself. Like
Yourself?
Myself. 3 years back before I got a stable job, I was broke. I was just going through Facebook. Along the line, I saw Carbon. They came, they said,
what is Carbon?
It's one of these loan sharks.
Oh, it's another one.
Yes, it said borrow 5,000 naira, then you repay back 5,500 in a space of 7 days, which I did. Before 7 days, they sent me a message, you're due for repayment of your loan. I repaid immediately. Then I said, collect 10,000 naira and pay 11,000 naira. I applied again. The bad thing about this thing, once you're involved in it, they keep increasing the amount of money. Then when it gets to a certain point, they told me collect 27,000 naira to repay 34,000 naira in a space of 2 weeks. I did. Unfortunately, the money I was expecting didn't drop. They began to message my family member.
Ew.
They were now threatening me. After paying the money, I regretted paying the money. I realized they are not really operating under any legal act. So you're even free to walk away without paying. They already defamed my character. Then me coming to pay the money, it was very, very annoying. So I gave them half of the money until today I refused paying the rest. And that was just it.
Okay, so you took your, how do they call that when somebody, you surcharge somebody for defaming somebody's character? Put it to us.
When you take an action to court.
Okay.
Did you take any action to court
I
for
did not. I
defamation?
just voluntarily refused not to
you
pay their
surcharged
money.
him yourself
Yes,
and
I
collected
didn't pay
it. Wow.
I didn't pay the remaining money. That was just all.
Wow, that's strange. Anyway, Doctor, you're the economist here. You want to give us a background of how these things...
Yes, certainly. Banks, the business of banks is to collect money from surplus spending units, people who have money to save, and then they loan that money out to deficit spending units. Those who they may be billionaires, but they still need to borrow money. And you may be earning just 10,000 naira, but you save like 9,000. So being a surplus spending unit does not mean you must be a millionaire or billionaire. You simply have money you don't need at the moment. So you take it to banks, and then the billionaire, the millionaire, the thousandaire, the hundredaire person who needs just 10K extra to support his or her business walks into a bank and gets that money you saved. So the business of banks is to intermediate between deficit spending unit and surplus spending unit. And they create money in that process by charging a little interest on your savings and on the people they borrow. But over time, banking borrowing to the public, to citizens, to people like me, her, you, became a bit watered down because they want to ensure that they don't have default in loan. So to borrow, you must have this huge collateral, or you must be a salary earner with government employment letter, very stable earnings. As loanable funds of banks grew, they didn't have many people to borrow to, because businesses in Nigeria are not necessarily surviving based on banking loan because of high interest rates. So this, with the growth of fintech, digital technology, smartphones everywhere, some people came together, formed a business, and went to banks to borrow huge money, because banks prefer to borrow to big businesses. Those guys became fintech guys.
Okay,
They
so
became
they are the
Carbon, they
ones
became Sabo.
That's your customers.
Yes.
Okay, Carbon.
They become Carbon, Sokolo, many. There
I
are
saw one,
lots
X
of them.
Credit, L Credit.
Ma'am, you'll be shocked how many these guys are. So to do that, they are now looking for micro people who need these loans, reaching them through Facebook, Instagram, any means to loan to them. So for banks, those companies guarantees the money they collect from them. But banks don't have any responsibility of checking how they use the money, in other words, who they loan to. So it's all about our Nigerian economy
It's not
needing
even
credit.
affiliated to any bank.
No, at all. It's all about people needing access to credit, but they can't get it from the normal banks. If you have banked with your bank for long and you have high credit ratings, you have high volume of transaction, 100,000 enter your account in 1 month is finished. The next 1 month, 200,000 enter is finished. Banks like that kind of transaction. They see you as high. Your account is creating money. They make money on you. Cost of managing your loan, withdrawal, deposit, POS. You are a valuable customer. Even if your bank account is 0, 1 million enter, it clears. 3 million enter, clear. Bank likes you a lot.
Are you serious?
Yes, bank will give. They will assign to you a
All
bank.
those charges.
They just like you. You are their favorite. They will assign to you an account officer. And through your bank, you can have access to very neat and clean loans that you can repay in 3 months. But how many people are in that bracket? Very small in terms of proportion. The huge part of the people are those who need 5K, 10,000 naira, but they cannot have high volume of transactions in their account. Neither do they have the required credit ratings. So that's where these fintech loan sharks, that's the market they are seeking to exploit.
Okay. It's clearly defined. I didn't know this much, but you just brought a book down to me.
I'm sure
But, he's a
we
legal
get more.
person,
Yes.
and specifically he's a data
protection.
Data protection. Now, I'd like to know on what legal backings do they operate?
Okay.
What's
just
their
to
authority?
Go from where continue from where he stopped. Essentially, money lenders, when they first started, it wasn't digital, so it wasn't online. There's a law that actually governs money lenders. So they're supposed
These are the same traditional money lenders.
Yes, that just developed into like fintech because of now technology.
Oh.
So when they first started, it's like you must do money lending through checks, you must sign contracts. So basically, they were supposed to be registered with you get your license from the states. So each state you must register with the states. But now that tech has come, it's now digital. You can just open your app. Now you don't even sign contracts. You don't even need to do anything. There's no proper checks. So you just, like she said, you see adverts. You enter. Take 5,000 for 500. So now the laws are not like in place. So before there's money lenders law, but it doesn't now really cover the scope of the digital area. So what you find is you can just go get your money and they start hounding you. And then the issue where my data protection comes in is now how once you default, they start sending your contact list messages that you are defaulting, that you are a fraudster and things like that. So that is where the illegality comes in, because they are not meant to do that. No matter the terms and conditions that you agreed to in the app doesn't give them the right to actually message your contacts and start defaming you or lie or saying all sorts. I saw the other day, or was it last week, where they put obituary that someone died.
I don't understand.
The person had, you didn't see it. There was one that the fintech, the company, put out an obituary of the person because the person has not paid. So they put out that the person is dead. So you see.
What's the target for that?
Shaming. The
Yeah.
point is shaming. But they forgot that Nigerians really can't. You can't shame the shameless. You know that, like she said. You when you don't, if I don't want to pay, you've done your worst. You've told your company or my family and everybody that, oh, I've not paid. Okay, if I don't have the money, what else do you want me to do? So they have to now realize that this shaming tactics is not the way forward. It's illegal because since 2019, there's the Nigerian Data Protection Regulation that actually governs how people's information is being used. You can't just enter my phone and start sending input messages anyhow. Like he mentioned Soko loans when he was talking. Yeah. They got fined 10 million last year for this act because they don't have proper privacy policies in place. They don't process your data accordingly. They don't. That's the act alone of entering your phone, taking your contact and sending messages to everybody is wrong. 10 million is like the highest fine so far from NICTA. And so I'm sure that most of them, they should take that as a warning and start knowing how they actually deal with people's data and send all these messages because it's wrong. And on the other side, the people that are borrowing can actually sue for defamation. I've had some people come to say that, oh, they've been taken to court or they've been reported to police because of defamation, like some of these fintech companies. So now they're having court cases. And the people can actually get damages because defamation is a civil action. So...
Wow,
all these things.
That's crazy. And if I am, if they send me such a message, I'd like to know what action do I take as economist, a lay person. Somebody was telling me yesterday, about how the mom nearly fainted, had heart attack because a message like that got to her phone about her child. She thought the child was, in a serious issue. So if it's somebody who has who is hypertensive, for instance, she wouldn't have been able to make it. So what should I do?
These are some of the challenges. Like, you don't know people's state of health and what they are going through at the moment. So some people cannot even stand getting those calls. You just get a call that, oh, your son or relative has this and that, and you have to pay. So what to do is, she mentioned NITDA. NITDA is a National Information Technology Development Agency. It is the de facto regulator of anything fintech and that space, so to speak. De facto means practically, not necessarily by law, but practically, NITDA serves as the regulator of that space, that digital space where this money, these loan sharks operate. And that's why she rightly mentioned that there was a case whereby one of the such operators was fined the sum of 10 million. Now, for the consumer, we have Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Council. We also have EFCC, because financial crime is involved. We have ICPC, in fact, all the anti-corruption agencies. And then we have central bank as well, through their own financial intelligence unit that consumers can reach out to. But to do that, you must have all the details. Because once you go online, you have to fill this form that requires precision. No operator, no regulator, ICPC, EFCC, FCC, PC, none of them want to handle a case based on hearsay or you think or something like that. So it's important to know that consumers are protected by government agencies. But on the other hand, in economics, we deal with 3 economic units: government, consumers, and investors. We just talked about how to protect the consumer. The bank loaning to those people, those operators who in turn loan to smaller people who need smaller loans, or people who need smaller loans.
People like us.
Those people are seen as investors.
Or the banks.
Yes, they see those people as investors. And investors by nature, they take risk. And every investor goes into business for profit making. Their objective function is profit. So they lose morality when it comes to seeking profit. They practically double their hustle when it comes to seeking profit. The more pathetic your story is, the more they want to heap those loans on you so that they can keep getting. That's how businesses operate. So ensuring that there's consumer due diligence also before you jump onto these people is very important. And one other thing to understand is understand how your own bank operates. You'll be shocked if you open your bank app on your phone right now and you go to help or somewhere, you will see your own official bank telling you you have access to 50k loan, 30k loan, and they will take it in 3 months, and once 3 months is done, they stop efficiently. So financial literacy is another thing that the central bank needs to do so that it can help consumers. You know, our question is, what do consumers do? But these consumers, some, thank God for her, like she said before she became more big in income, there are some people who are really the poorest of the poor. They are the vulnerable group. People who 2,000 is like 2 million. Yeah. These are the people that are practically the target market. And these are the people that were struggling to pull out of poverty, enhance their livelihood. So it's very painful to know that even though the government on one hand is doing its best to enhance access to credit to poor households, businesses are taking advantages of them. So like I said, financial literacy on the part of central bank. Then the National Social Investment Office also needs to improve its enlightenment about what they are doing to help people access all those empowered conditional cash transfer and the rest. Just recently, this federal government introduced Nigeria COVID-19 Action Response Economic Stimulus Program. That program will also give monies to states and local government to also continue, like, to back up or to support vulnerable households that constitute the 20% poor, the poorest of the poor. So a lot of things government is doing, but people don't know.
We still need to educate people.
Yes, Elizabeth, and that's because these fintech guys are using, what are they using? Facebook, SMS, Instagram. Ads. They are practically on our phones. Government needs to enter our phones as well with ads. Are you a graduate 10 years, 18 years and above? Have you been unemployed 3 years? You can get loan or get benefit from Empower if you send 111 to 222 from Federal Ministry.
So government should create such ads and throw it to the face.
Because Elizabeth, this generation, if you are not in our phones, you don't exist.
Definitely. Data is, everybody knows that data is life. Turn it off and everybody's asking what's happening. Is there a coup somewhere? But then you mentioned age. I'd like to know, when you were, when you got that loan, did they ask you the detailed questions about your age, what you do, and all of that?
Yes. And that is, they will always ask you permission to access your contact.
Oh, they actually ask you that.
Do.
But they don't tell you why
they don't tell you why they are
so
accessing your contact, and that is why they can easily throw all those tantrums to all your contacts, because you are definitely going to press accept.
Because you need the money.
Because you need the money. So no matter the terms and conditions they are giving to you, you are just there after the money. It's thereafter you now start seeing what is coming after it. And these people, they are so wicked that they are not going to bring it in a plain words to you. This is the terms and condition attached to it. If you don't pay within a stipulated time, this and that is going to be the consequences. Just like in bank, they will tell you, okay, this is what you're bringing for collateral. If you're unable to meet up, we are going to seize your car, we'll seize your house. But this one, they will not tell you anything involving that. They will just tell you they will be charging you 1% per day. But I'm telling you, now is 5% per day. Per day is 5%. So imagine you taking 20-something thousand a day. After 1 month, they're telling you you are owing 49,000 in a space of how many weeks?
Per day, not a month.
Per day is 5% of what you collected. And that's how this money keeps growing. So even when you're able to pay the amount you collected, they will still keep believing that you're still owing them.
That was what the last person said.
Yes, that is how they operate.
They kept withdrawing.
It's not as if you've not cleared the stipulated money. You've cleared it. But the other ones now are the one they expected you to pay for the days you defaulted. 5% per day.
Oh. And it's because it's an unsecured loan. So if you look at the money lenders law, there's different interest rates for different type of loans. And for the money lenders law in Lagos, they can actually charge 48% interest for the year. So when you see because there's no collateral, so that's why the interest rates are higher. So things like that 5,000, that interest rate is how they're making their money. And because you've not put anything down to say, oh, I will collect this if you don't pay, they can charge that high amount. Now for like I was saying, when permission to access your contact, since 2019, you cannot just say ask for permission to access contact. You need to let me know why. You need to let me know what you're going to use the contact list for, because you have to be transparent. That's one of the provisions of the data protection regulation. You have to be transparent with everything you're collecting my information for. You can't just say, give me permission. Okay, if I give you permission, what are you going to use it for? How long are you going to access it? When are you going to stop processing that information? And again, even the contacts that you are collecting their data, you cannot give permission for someone else to use my data. So which is where when you look at banks and they have guarantors, because the guarantors are informed. I can't guarantee something I don't know. So why is somebody that I haven't spoken to, I don't know in years, I'm still receiving a message that, oh, the person used my name, or
you stood as a guarantor?
Do you understand? Something that I was not aware of.
It's not a physical presentation of yourself.
You have, which is wrong.
They can just put your phone number and your name, and that's just all. It's not as if I have to call you and say, Madam Elizabeth, please, are you aware of so and so person collecting a loan from? They will not call you as a guarantor. No, they will not.
They just accept the phone.
They just accept the phone number.
That's wrong, because according to the law, you have to let everybody know whose data you are collecting. The person's data that you are collecting has to be aware that you are collecting my data. Which is why, if I'm going to guarantee you, I need to know. You need to let the person, the company, fintech is meant to actually contact that other person before giving the loan. That this person has put your name down, so that by the time I'm contacting you, when the person doesn't pay,
they use as guarantor. The person collecting the loan would have said, okay, my guarantor is ABCD.
They can put numbers, yes.
It's just a number.
You can just put anybody's number. I've received a message from someone like, oh, so and so, you guarantee so and so, and at least I knew the person. So when I got the message, I had to forward it, like, what's going on. So because I wasn't aware of this acts that you put me as your guarantor. So things like that is just wrong. There has to be transparency in the processing of people's information. That's just what it is nowadays.
And one funny thing that people don't actually know about this loan is that your phone might be stolen. And a lot of people now don't use security code. Unlike me, I don't put security code on my phone. And once most of these guys, these picking pocket guys, they pick up your phone. They can easily download different of this application. I am talking from an experience from a lady that fainted and she was rushed into our hospital because of this same issue. Her phone, they stole it. They used it in downloading SoCoel, Credit, Carbon, like about 9 of these different applications. And these fraudsters, they use it in assessing loans. Without our knowledge, because
so she has been collecting loans without knowing she was collecting loans.
Because the phone was stolen. It's just a phone number operation. While they send you a verification code, you're the one receiving it. They don't even care to know whether it is the owner of the phone that is handling that phone. They don't care to know about that. So you keep on putting the verification code, and you just be seeing your alert. And these people, they are supposed to work alongside with themselves. If I have a loan with you, I'm not supposed to have an access to the other agents like SoCoel. But they are not aware of this. They don't operate.
So
all of them are under their selfish interest. They are under their own selfish interest. I want to make my money, you make your own. I don't bloody care. But the good thing I like what CBN is doing is that you cannot just go into my bank and said you're taking your money, because the Financial Conduct Authority, they don't have a coverage from them. So you don't you cannot just go there. And what I advise people now is that if you know your loan amount, if it is all this small money, get to your credit unit. There's LAPO. All those people, you can get, they are legalized. They are well licensed. Though they will take some little percentage. We were gisting and I told you about my younger sister who went to collect phone. She used me as a guarantor and they gave her a phone of 75,000. 3 days ago we spoke. They didn't call me. They just handed over phone to her. Woe betide them where they call me and said, we gave phone to so and so person. And the funniest thing is that we look alike, but they capture her image.
So you could tell there's no.
And they can track that phone. Then now, there is a paper for you to sign. You signed it. There is a terms and condition. You read it. But this one, there is nothing like that. I don't even know you.
Paperwork.
No paperwork.
Just an app.
So now I am so enlightened now that you can even carry this money and you walk away. And that is just it.
She mentioned
learned from her
Lapo.
experience.
She mentioned Lapo. Lapo
Yes.
is a microfinance bank.
Yes.
And she also commended CBN. What the CBN is doing is that the banking structure in Nigeria right now is into three. There are regional banks, there are national banks, and microfinance banks. The capitalization for regional banks is like 15 billion. The one for national is 25 billion. And then it goes down that way. Every strata of this bank have their own customer base. And you'll be amazed how much organization microfinance bank has to help people who need real funds. And if you have 4 bank accounts, you have 1 BVN. So if you collect loan from bank A, you can't collect from bank B. This is how dull these guys are. The only thing driving them is their profit maximizing objective without regard for corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility will make you pay attention to someone's feelings, someone's image. Banks cannot just publish your name. Even if you are owing them highest, any amount that enters your bank, they clear
They will
it.
clear it.
Even if you put money for school fees, they clear it. It takes time before a bank will even harass you. So I'm just saying that banks have a lot of reforms to help people. People don't just know how close banks is to them right now.
I'm looking at you, it's like you're a banker. That advert.
No, it's true.
But anyway, that was an enlightening. I'd like to know really, because it's like a loose end. Is there anybody to tie it together? Any regulatory body, in place? You mentioned NICTA. I don't know how much they can actually go into this because their names. I tried to look at the internet and I saw a whole lot of apps. I saw L Credit, X Credit, and Easy Cash, yes, Fast Cash, all of them. So that means they are there in the air. Somebody can actually get to them. Somebody for punitive measures. Somebody can actually get to them, educate them. Like I just learned something that I can access a loan via my bank app. I didn't know. I will download the app and try to see what I can do.
Through USSD.
USSD. I just sent my other sister this morning.
USSD for bank loans.
And I know what to do when I'm broke. So, but can somebody actually bring them together, educate them, rather than messing up the business that you could carry on forever? Let's do it with a certain modus operandi.
No, I assure you that central bank is not sleeping. Central bank is aware of all these things. I'm sure they're just gathering the required data, and they are always fact driven. But at the right time, central bank will practically jump on these guys and ensure sanctity in that space. Because let's give it to them. There are some people who that loan will help. But what we don't like is the exploitation. You can't exploit people like that. You can't exploit people like that. And then there's also the need for banks to know know your borrowers. Banks should know their big borrowers. It's not that person coming to those 4-5 guys who came together to start up a company overnight to collect 4 billion naira loan, and they use their house as collateral. It looks attractive. But the banks should also improve on their due diligence on what investors seek to do. If you are going into these micro loans, they try to ensure that those people comply to the existing rules and regulation, because it's also important to ensure that these people don't in turn end up increasing poverty, increasing mortality rate, increasing high death rate of women and vulnerable groups, the same people government program is dying to protect. So this is where government needs to really come on them, on these guys. It's something that it is rolling back every effort government is making to protect the girl child, persons with disabilities, vulnerable groups from poverty and exploitation. These people are a danger to our development progress. So whatever advantage they have, central bank knows best. It's important for central bank to call maybe like a stakeholder meeting or thereabout to give them real enlightenment. Civil society organizations are also doing a lot. I'm aware of Action Aid Nigeria. So they did something last year on youth digital engagement, and all they were concerned is to make young people know what government is doing so that they can access it rather than being exposed to this kind of operations. So everybody has a role to play to ensure enlightenment, including what you are doing right now in your program.
All right, so we will probably have a take two where we'll have to list out all those government agencies and how you can access it, because the need for the mass education is imperative at this point. I would like to know, when you mentioned something about them still continuously taking your money after you have paid, until I think the girl on the TV we saw said until she had to go up to the office to stop it, and even as we speak, the money has not been returned. Is there any way me, who is a borrower, can actually pause it when I think I have paid? I mean, the honest one.
The truth be told is that these people, they don't have access to your direct bank account to start withdrawing money from it. That is the truth of
Now,
it.
assuming I do it with my salary
some
account.
actually do. If you set up a direct debit, so some actually have access. It depends on how you register. Some people put their details and say you can do direct debit, which is what happens to that person.
That person did the
kept on taking it, because like you said, you have a set amount of days. You have 5% a day. Okay, that 5%, I've said I'm going to collect this extra 5% every day. Even if I pay up that loan that I'm owing you, that 5% keeps on counting. So that's where things like that happen, which is why, again, consumer awareness is necessary to know that when you're dealing with fintechs, you can't do direct debit. When you're dealing with not even fintechs, these digital money lenders, you can't do direct debit because it is hard. Even when you do a mistake transfer, to get that money back, the other person has to authorize that they return the money. So imagine having to deal with digital money lenders that you don't even know where they are stipulated. Some of them, they are not even registered companies. They are just apps that someone has developed and put it on Google Play. So if you search at CAC, most of them are not registered companies. So where do you start chasing them from? You have to start checking Google Play to be saying, oh, where's their address? Who is the person? So things like that, you now need to know that I need to be careful with the kind of information I put on this app so that my money is not at stake. When I pay you, I know it's me that transferred the money to you, not that you have direct access to my account and you just start taking my money anyhow.
The truth is that CBN has been working so well lately that they warn most of our the banking agency not to allow these guys have access to your personal account. Yes, the money will hit your personal account, but they cannot just come and debit me 1 naira and said I collected. As in how? It's not done. I will even sue my bank. Did I give you the authorization? Were you there when me and these people we had agreement? They can still come and lie on my name. Did I show you any evidence that yes, I actually collected loan from them? So they cannot. You don't even know these people. So banks now, they can't go and start debiting money from your account. And there is no place when you are applying, they will ask you, can I take it from your account? Like the normal banking sectors, they will tell you it will be debited on your payday loan when your salary comes in. But this one, there is no provision like that.
Nothing.
There is nothing like that. Their own is that just collect my money and you see your alert. You enjoy your money. If you can pay, fine. If you cannot, you walk away. That's just it.
Felicia, somebody actually commented here. He said Felicia is right. She's talking from experience and the experience of a novice. All right. I'll take more of the messages, but for now, let's quickly take a break. When we come back, the show will just be getting to the climax.
We want to talk about rights, there are obligations. I'm not saying that this government is a saint, it's very far from it. But there are things that we can do to make it better, and that's the challenge I'm throwing to you. You don't want to build this nation? I don't know where else you want to go. If I had a choice, I'll come back. When I stand outside and I hear what you have to say about this country that I know that I can die for as one, then I'm really sad because you're young. You have education. You have tools. You have a huge future ahead of you. And you're condemning yourself before you started on that journey. So please don't do that. Please don't.
conversations, and we're still talking loan sharks. And the messages are not very good, but we'll try to read them as much as I can. Let me check this one quickly. It says Migo Cash Loan is one of the evil loan companies. They almost ruined my life. Well, he didn't tell us how they did that, but I hope you will write more to explain. Good morning, presenter. My name is Peter. I am texting from Enugu. Fair money, lend me. Is anyone called Fair Money?
Yes.
It's like, the Fair Money lend me loan of 50,000 to pay 60 in a month. But to my greatest surprise, 2 weeks after the loan, they started sending me message that my loan date is overdue. Please, I don't know what to do. Thank you for this topic. I'm impressed. Okay, there is a breach of contract here. What would Peter? What should Peter do?
There's definitely a breach of contract if you have agreed to pay.
Oh, okay, I'm a lawyer now. I got that right.
Yeah, because when you take this loan, it's on there's terms and conditions. You have agreed to a stipulated time. So the only thing they can do is maybe reminding you, okay, in 2 weeks it's due, but they cannot tell you that your money is now due to be paid or start harassing you or any of that, because it is it's not what you that was not what you agreed to. So most people are afraid of courts, but that's always the best place, because if you write to them, you can actually write to them letting them know that this is wrong, and if they don't desist, then it's legal action. Because honestly, there's terms and conditions for these things. You don't just let them know that you know your rights. That's the thing with Nigerians. When you let someone know that you know your rights and you know the right thing to do, they actually sit up and do the right thing. But because they know that most Nigerians are not aware of what is right and wrong, maybe legally, then they now act without any remorse and without any decorum to how they deal with your information or how they handle the loan you are owing them.
On top of that, for the sake of Nigerians out there, there's a business model this loan sharks use in operating. See the concept. 1, 2, 3, 4 guys come together. Guys with real identity, who have the means. They've built houses, they work, they have decent jobs. They are real people. They pull their credentials together, their net worth together, so that they can access loan from banks. Once they do that, they'll feel what the banks want. They'll tell the banks, want to do real estate, want to do this, banks gives them. Because the bank know they can recover. These people will not default. Now, they take that money and then hire a software developer to just create an app. We pay these guys some millions to just develop a loan app, which doesn't need CAC, doesn't need FIRS tax paying anything. Once that app has been developed, they get the copyright between them and the software developer, and then throw it on Play Store or Apple Store, where they know that we all go to. Play Store, Apple Store is the new supermarket in town when it comes to apps. So you just go there, they are able to get their friends and connection to record high level of downloads, so that app becomes attractive. Once you download, you fill the form. So you are dealing with, she mentioned of their kind of loan being unsecured. The entire structure is unsecured. So you are dealing with them on your own terms. So central bank at that point will not be able to defend you if you say you borrowed for investment purpose. Your best bet is, say you borrowed as a consumer. You borrowed to meet basic needs. So consumer protection and all those EFCC, ICPC, NITSDA, all of them will be there for you. But if you say you borrowed as an investor, investors are assumed to always be on a risk level. This is a very critical part. In fact,
okay, so
there's
when
national.
I need to sue, I should say I borrow.
Yes, as a consumer, you borrow 3,000 just to eat. And these people are stressing you.
Oh,
they are
okay.
stressing you.
Now you're talking.
Yes.
Borrow as a consumer.
Yes. Don't say you borrow. Don't say I own social investment, so I borrow to invest. Central bank will just look at you like you're a risk taker. So it's very important to take note. Then one other thing I wanted to add is also to introduce the point that once that money is collected, there's national NDIC, Nigerian Deposit Insurance Bank, but you not hear Nigeria Savers or Investors Insurance Bank. Depositors are always protected. Yes. Central Bank has a department called Financial Intelligence Department. These people that monitor banks. In fact, NDIC and CBN, they can do anything to protect depositors and consumers. Then on the aspect of banks as well, they need to also improve in expanding their retail products. This is one, banking is up the ladder at presently. They need to bring it down closer to the people so that people can access directly from banks rather than being exposed to these sharks.
Yeah, because
Yes,
the
exactly.
truth is, from what you've told us
Let me
and
add
little we
something
know,
to that breach
we
of
have,
contract.
okay.
You know, when you have this app on your phone, they will tell you 28 days. But like what happened to me, when the money hits your account, you later see 14 days. So even after screenshotting it now, there is no way you can prove yourself. You can't prove yourself. They actually told you 28 when they were bringing their terms and conditions. But after the money hits your account, when you check loan expiration day, you either see 16 days or 14 days.
Somebody has altered it.
Yes. Because they are the one that
So
have
when I'm
access
applying now, screenshot
to-
what was.
to the terms and condition. That is just
So
the
they
best
can alter the terms.
Of
That's
course.
criminality.
Yes.
That's criminality.
Which is
We
why I
have,
said their processes are not transparent.
Yeah.
honestly,
It's wrong.
honestly, a whole lot of mails here. Let me see the much we can take before coming back to the house. Good morning, house. Good job. I have such issue. They are calling me even as at now to take a loan, and this person, it didn't conclude. Okay. They said somebody used my name as collateral. Too bad. That's you didn't tell us your name, Sha. Better, more mails are coming in, and these people calling, please. We don't take calls. Let's take more. Good morning. My name is Felix John. What happened in the case of federal government ongoing loan by Nisra Bank? If a vendor fails to supply the borrower the loan equipment, I don't know if you understand what he's saying, but let us have a minute to answer all that. Good morning. My name is Daniel. What if a person that collects a loan does not pay back the money before the required time? What is the best solution? Do you still borrow from another source to pay back? Wow.
No, a lot of people do it, of course.
Okay. Yes, it's true, because it happened to me yesterday. The loan is due yesterday. Before evening, they started texting my contacts, and the money is 9,285. Just 9,000. All right. He also added there he needs somebody to help him, that he still needs to pay back another 30K. We don't run charity. But, we have taken note of your message. Please, are there vital documents one can access to educate us on laws that can help us? David Isaac. Let me take a pause here. The other ones maybe will reply you off the camera. Are there laws, sites I can actually go to educate myself?
If you go to for the data protection aspect, if you go to NIDA, or if you just search Nigerian Data Protection Regulation, there's the law is there. So it shows you what every person that collects your information should do with it, and the rights you have to that information. It shows you how to, it educates you on the fact that you have a right to your data, and you have a right to demand to know what they are going to use your information for. Aside that, if you even what they call it, if you look at the provisions, like he said, there's the CBN help desk, which you can even contact. There's FCCPC, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, that actually helps and works with consumers. So FCCPC, EFCC, I think there's some agencies that are coming together, CBN, that are actually working on bringing out a regulation for these digital money lenders, because as we can see, is a topic that everyone is now experiencing. So they're actually working, and hopefully we get it this year, a regulation that will comment and say how they should actually operate, because up until now there's no law regulating them. They're actually just working how they like. So when that comes in, it will give the sector or the industry more clarity.
All right, my time is almost up. On a yes or no, if I get such text message, can I sue the company?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what's your final word?
Well, it's important to understand that poverty is what is driving a lot of people on the
Sometimes
bottom
too, people are just greedy.
to get access to basic needs. And it's funny to know that everybody has a smartphone now. Government is doing a lot to address poverty, inequality, exclusion. Government should please take this step further by engaging especially young people using their phones.
Okay, so thank you very much. Felicia, your final word. Please don't go to, what's that your call? Sokolo.
She has issues.
In nutshell, to our viewers out there, I will advise you, before you go in for a loan, know the type of loan you're going in for and the reasons why you are going in for that loan. And you have to understand that there are different license loan out there for a particular purpose that you can actually access. For now, stay away from all this online borrowing.
And use your banks.
Use your bank for you to have a healthy stability of mind.
Coming from the experience, you should pay attention to that advice because she's had it personally. And I don't know what else to say. We have said it all. So let's say, or do you have another word to say as a lawyer to all of us?
My advice is actually for the money lenders. They should actually, for their business and their profitability, they should actually find a way to join forces and maybe like regulate themselves to now know who is owing who, so that somebody will not borrow from Soko loans and go and borrow from Easy Cash and L Credit, and then everybody is just borrowing without them getting their money back.
Like somebody is asking whether he should go and borrow from another place to pay another place. That's how we go. All right, if you don't have need for loan, really, you should not borrow. For me, I believe that if you look around, there is something you can do to raise money. You may not need to borrow. If it's 5,000, there's a builder somewhere. Go and be a day pay. 2 weeks, 2 days, you earn a whole lot. And also help someone do one thing or the other. There's always a way to make money. My name is Elizabeth, and we've had lovely talk. Let's hope we'll pull this together again. For those that couldn't reply here on air, we'll take that behind the camera. Be good and be good citizens.